Evening, good afternoon, and good morning. This is the 1483rd day of continuous webinar conducted by International Forum for Promoting Homeopathy. We welcome all to the session. Today, our guest is Dr. Shelly Sharma Bhosale. Let us begin the session with 1 minute silent prayer. Thank you all. As you all know, the International Forum for Promoting for Homeopathy was formed during the time of COVID when there was no place to meet the doctors at one together. And today we have reached a milestone of 1,483 days. So that means that we are doing all these things for the last 4 years in a beautiful way. And we have doctors and eminent personalities from different parts of the world have presented various sessions about medical field and a different subject also. And all those things really bring a good idea among doctors to reach to the public also. Anyway, we have 3 sessions every day, the 7:30 to 8:30, the Hindi session, 8:30 to 9:30, the international session in English, and 9:30 to 10:30 local language session in Malayalam. Today we got a guest from Mumbai, Dr. Shelly Sharma Bhosale. Doctor has been doing an excellent job in this seminar sessions. She is always here to support us as and when her convenient date comes. And every time she is willing to share her knowledge in different subject also. And she has completed MD and is a PhD holder. She has been awarded the PhD degree from Defense Minister of India, Sri Rajatnath Singh Ji, in 2023. She did her diploma in LIACH from Greece and have done advanced homeopathic course from Greece, studied psychiatry and has done fellowship in psychiatry and counseling and practicing since 2011. She has successfully treated a wide variety of patients from children to elderly. She has also helped to reverse and heal for a variety of illness, including incurable and emergency diseases, cancer, psychiatry, and many more. She is running 2 clinics independently in Maharashtra, India, one in Mumbai by Sri and other in Sangli. And as a researcher, Dr. Shilly has been publishing and presenting her scientific research papers nationally as well as internationally at Dubai, Germany, Italy, and many more places. Has been publishing research articles on scientific research journals nationally as well as internationally. Was awarded the best case presenter in Liga 2019. Invited national radio channels to educate people about benefit of homeopathy. She was the next associate professor in physiology department and invited as a key speaker to many colleges, conducted educative work webinars for students and doctors nationally as well as internationally, and conducted many health awareness camps, talks to the patients, running independent YouTube channel, Insta channels to educate patients, people, doctors, and students. And today, Doctor will be talking about a different subject that is different type of prescriptions. So let us welcome the guest of the day, Dr. Shelly Sharma, to the stage. Welcome, madam.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes. So thank you once again. And I'm very glad to meet everyone once again. And Dr. Danish, I really adore your enthusiasm for homeopathy and trying to get the best for your audience. Right. So, today I have been associated with this group since many years. And I think most of my topics were relating materia medica, solving cases, and about repertory, children cases, etc. So I was just thinking, why not I'll teach something more grounded in homeopathy? More grounded means what? More connected to organon, but in a very practical way. I was blessed, or I can say I'm blessed to learn with the best of the homeopaths in India. I'm blessed to be associated with best of the homeopathic minds in India, right? And learning from so many classical homeopathic physicians, right from Vithalka sir, and many other great homeopathic physicians, you eventually develop your own art and your own understanding about homeopathic prescriptions. But my understanding was never against, or it was never opposite to what Dr. Hahnemann said. It became more refined, and with many years of practice, solving a lot of pathological cases in the most classical way, this reconfirmed to me that the only way how homeopathy can show miraculous results, second, the only way we can survive is being what we are individually. I mean to say, see, once I was presenting my paper in Germany. My paper was on pain management and cervical degeneration of disc. So one of the audience said me, ma'am, what difference you're making, right? We have more sophisticated painkillers today in the world. So when Hahnemann started practicing homeopathy, I think allopathic system was very primitive, right? It had no strong principles. It was very primitive. But now you can see that allopathic system is very, very refined. You have best of painkillers, you have best of therapies happening, right? So what different are you giving to your patients, and why should homeopathy survive, comes the question. Because till you don't get the idea why you're different and why are you still superior, you will not get that confidence. You just don't have to practice homeopathy because you got admission into homeopathy, right? You have to practice because homeopathy is beyond something which still allopathic science cannot do. Homeopathy is something which is the only science, I believe, after the nature, Mother Nature, which has the capacity to reverse the pathology, right? If fibroids can be reversed with our remedy, if lung collapse can be reversed, if cancer can get vanished after our homeopathic treatment, if mentally challenged children can start talking, have a better life, I think we are still very sophisticated. But the only thing why we are lacking today still is we are not practicing what exactly Hahnemann said. You will not believe, when I was going through the literature of homeopathy, when homeopathy started, Hahnemann, Dr. Boninghausen, just go through their literature. They were treating pathological conditions. Dr. Herring, they were treating pathological conditions like gangrene, tumors, brain stroke. And where are we now? What are we doing? What are we doing? We are just limiting ourselves. Take cold and cough, come for homeopathy. No, we have limited our own resources. Just go to the, what I'll say is the sources of homeopathy. So if we have to survive, it is very important that we follow the deepest principles of homeopathy. So here I am today, where I'll share some of the strategies which is being applied in my practice. I'm seeing wonderful results. And you'll have to have a very broad aspect of prescription. Don't limit yourself. Meaning, see, I just practice mind level. I just practice pathological level. Don't limit yourself. You can't decide that what practice you have to do. It is the patient who will decide what kind of prescription you need to give. It's very opposite. So let us start. Whenever a case comes to your given a case, there are different kind of prescriptions we see, and where we fail is when we get prejudiced. And the first thing Hahnemann speaks about is don't be prejudiced, be unprejudiced. You have to be unprejudiced in prescriptions, in learning of homeopathy, in application of homeopathy. Then there's nothing in the world which can stop us being different, right? So let me start with the first thing. Okay, let us first be thankful to Dr. Hahnemann. We are blessed with the science of homeopathy. Trust me. If you, your family, or your patients have not had a single chemical medicine for the last 20 years, compare them with other patients who are having frequent antibiotics. Just look at the scans. You'll find the difference. Just look at the quality of life. Just look how they are not getting other chronic diseases. I mean, it's been 15 years for my practice today. All my patients, none of them have developed diabetes in this 15 years, who are still following me. None of them have got their bones, weakened. They are all excellent in their health. So this is what homeopathy can give, and this is all because of Dr. Hahnemann. So the first thing is individualization in homeopathic prescription. Now, let us understand what is individualization. We always do individualization, yes, but what exactly is individualization? Now, this kind of prescription, when you make in your clinic, when a patient comes, trust me, when you reach to the most minimum remedy, whatever the pathology is, it is going to reverse. So if you get a case where you're successful enough to get the individualization done of your patient, trust me, whatever the pathology is, be it surgical or non-surgical, it is going to reverse. And this is where we fail. We fail to individualize the patient at the maximum to reach the minimum. And this is where a normal homeopath and a master homeopath differs. This is the place where you can play the magic. This is the place where you can be very different. And this is the place where you have to master yourself. Now, what is individualization? Right? We always say, nah, individualization is just to take the totality. Hahnemann speaks in the aphorism 5 and 6. He says, in order to individualize every case, you have to be free from prejudice and draw the portrait of the disease. Now, what do you mean by drawing the portrait? So, just imagine a patient coming to your clinic, right? And starts giving you the history. Now, what is individualization? I like to give a highlight. There are two ways how you can individualize a case. One is by drawing the totality, and second is by finding the essence of your case, by finding the essence of your remedy. I'll give you example of both. A patient comes to your clinic, right? And he gives a proper history. You take the whole history. Listen, I'm talking very basic, but trust me, this is what it is. You have to master the basics, right? You take the whole history, and then, you just have to sit and, try to differentiate different aspects or compartment of your cases. Like, you have to draw the most characteristic symptoms from the mind. You have to draw the most characteristic symptoms from your generals. You have to draw the most characteristic from the pathology. So when there is a connection between the body symptoms, the emotion symptoms, and intellectual symptoms, where you get characteristic from all the aspects and you are able to connect the dots, that remedy, that prescription, we call it as a totality. Totality is as a whole. It is not just focusing on the mind, not just focusing upon the pathology or on the generals. It's about focusing on everything. Now, you cannot just take a totality haphazardly. You have to have a connection, right? For example, I'll give you with an example. There's a patient coming to your clinic, right? Remember, in totality, also observation play a very major role. See, whatever I'm going to talk today is very practical, right from my clinic. It's unfiltered, I can say. Okay. So whenever patient coming to your clinic, he gives you the whole history. Yeah, doctor. Doctor, what? I said, like, what? I have knee problem. I have pain in the knee. Okay. And I'll give you, this is example of my patient. So what is the complaint? Doctor, I have pain in the knee. Acha. What happened? See, doctor, I fell down and then I started with the pain, right? Immediately, did you start with the pain? No, doctor. It happened maybe after 6 months of my fall, but it was a gradual onset. So we got the speed of the disease. Then how is the pain? I'll ask the patient. Doctor, see, my pains are aggravated when I'm in motion. It is rest. When I'm resting, it is better. Okay. And And doctor, you know what? When I give pressure, I feel better. Okay. When there is pressure, I'm better. When there is hot application, garam garam lagana, I feel better. You got some strong particular characteristic symptom, right? Now, how are you? Tell me about you, about your generals. You get some strong generals in the patient. Like what? Like, see, doctor, you know what? I have a lot of stiffness in the joint and I feel thirsty. My throat is always dry, for example. Okay. And what else? My motions are constipated usually. And nowadays I'm having a lot of anxieties. What is anxiety about? See, doctor, there are a lot of fights in my home happening. My brother is fighting. My sister is fighting. There are people in my house, they are fighting. And I'm not able to tolerate the fight. What is happening exactly? What is your role in that fight? I just want everyone to be okay. How since long there are fights? See, doctor, the fights are since 1 year. There is a separation. My siblings don't want to look at each other's face, and I'm in the bit center. I have to take care of everything. Right? And because of this thought process, I want to maintain the harmony. I want everyone to be together. I've developed a lot of anxieties and panic attack. I feel I will die. So, what is a common remedy you'll think about? Most of us will go to the remedy bryonia, but this remedy is Rutha. How? See, bryonia is what you just got his particulars better by rest, aggravated by motion. Some of his generals were matching dryness and constipation, but what about the mind? What was running in his mind? The mind which was running was he wants harmony. Rutha is the remedy which needs harmony. And since 1 year, that person is trying to have a harmony in his house. There is a disharmony. So this is where comes individualization and not on the level of just particulars. So if you give bryonia, his pains will come down, but his pathology will not reverse. Trust me. This is why, our prescriptions work when you give bryonia or Rustox in such cases. But you will not see the degeneration reversing, because what is the source? Sources is the mind. Source is what? There's a disharmony where he's trying to maintain the harmony. Along with that, he has developed a lot of anxieties and panic attack. When you see Rutha is one of those remedies which is having a strong pathology towards the joint, and mentally that person is very soft. He is worried, he doesn't like fight. You see the rubric ailments from disharmony, a harmony, desire for. You see the remedy Rutha today. Study Rutha from that aspect. Also in Rutha, you have symptoms like anxieties and panic attacks. So this is when you will think and prescribe in this level, you will see the x-rays showing reversal of the pathology. And this is what I see in my patients. 4th degree degeneration is reversing to degree 1. This is the magic. But if you just limit to bryonia or Rustox, you will never see the magic. This is how we have to differ. So this is about taking the totality of the case. Now, the other thing which comes under individualization is essence, right? What is essence? I always tell my students, see, when you eat a cake, you are offered a cake and you just eat a piece of cake. You come to know it's a strawberry flavored cake, or it is, it's a butterscotch flavored cake, it's a vanilla flavor cake. You pick out from any part of the cake, you will understand what is the flavor. So in essence, when you take the whole case, and this usually happens in our practice, in my practice, you put the totality, you will not get the remedy. But you will say, see, yaar, this remedy looks like pulsatilla, but she is not pulsatilla. I can't feel the essence of pulsatilla in that case. Or you get a typical picture of natrum. Since childhood, the patient is seeing a lot of fights between the parents. The child, when she grows up, she develops she develops what you call is a barricade, or something, a barrier. She becomes more introvert. Now she doesn't feel whom to talk to. She cannot trust anyone. She cannot get hurt. So what that patient does, the patient gets involved in more such kind of activities which are safe emotionally, like reading, like singing, like music, like writing, like painting. Cannot share her emotions. You get that essence. So what if you get a strong essence? Oh, this is, and I feel better when I go to the seashore. I feel better. You know, I just want one-to-one connection with the person. I cannot have many friends. Trust me, कितना भी deeper pathology होगा, whatever strong characteristics you get in your particulars, if you get a strong essence of a case, given that, you will see miraculous results. This is how we prescribe at the level of individualization in homeopathic prescription. Let us go ahead. It's a very deep topic. Like, we can talk on this topic for maybe 2 hours. When I take my lectures, we talk on this topic. So I'm just giving you a gist. So whenever in your practice next time, try to apply. Now, again, there are two kinds of prescriptions happening. One is acute prescription in your clinic. One is chronic prescription. Now, what is acute prescription? And what is chronic prescription? Okay, so we always think acute prescription is what? Where, there's a sudden onset. Okay, now acute can be of two kinds. One is psoriasyphilitic, which is a pathological case which can lead to the death, or it is a normal acute sardi, khasi, laryngitis, pharyngitis, whatsoever. And chronic prescriptions are again a disease where the patient is suffering from long term. And whenever you get a chronic case, you have to understand whether this chronic disease is, it's miasmatic and non-miasmatic. And you have to approach the case likewise. Remember, friends, in acute prescription, Hahnemann speaks in aphorism 5, aphorism 151, 152. The patient will throw strong characteristic symptom in your case. You have to catch that, right? For example, I'll tell you a case. A case came, the person ran, he came with fever and body ache with laryngitis. So I said, like, what happened? Doctor, I have got pharyngitis. I'm suffering from fever since 2 days. What happened? Doctor, nothing. 2-3 days back, we had sports day and I played a lot in the sun. I played for 7-8 hours and I just enjoyed playing. Acha, you played a lot. And then after that, I got body ache and I got fever. Now, how are you in this situation? Doctor, in this situation, I don't want to sit at home. I just want to be busy somewhere. I just don't like to rest. So through such strong symptoms, ailments from overexertion, right? You have to catch that way. Second, ailments from overexertion. Now, his acute condition is better in motion, aggravated in rest. Remedy is very clear. He is a very active remedy. It's Rustox, and Rustox should help him in this case. Okay. So Hahnemann speaks about, and you have to always make sure whenever an acute case comes, not acute exacerbation of chronic disease I'm talking about, pure acute case, there has to be a strong ailments from, there has to be a strong modality and a strong general symptom to catch on. And you prescribe, you'll see the results, they are beautiful. Okay? Right. Now, the third kind of prescriptions which we usually have to prescribe in our practice is pathological prescriptions or symptomatic prescriptions. Now, what do you mean by pathological prescriptions? Now, see, whenever you take a case and you find that you're not getting strong totality, right? You're not getting strong link in a totality, but the pathology is very strong. So here in this case, you enter through the pathology. Remember, right? I remember a case of mine where the patient was in hospital. He was in semi-comatose condition, not responding. Doctor said, you go back home. Nothing can be done. So when I went to the patient, she was in comatose condition. And, she was in a state of septicemia. There was no symptom, just that she was lying like a dead body. Opened her mouth, lying like a dead body, no response. So now, what should I be doing? If I take the old case, I'll take the old history, this will not match now, because now the vital force is not talking those symptoms. The vital force is, I'll tell you one more thing. Just listen to the language of vital force. Whenever we prescribe homeopathic remedy, we stimulate the vital force. So listen to the language of your vital force or of the patient's vital force. It will always communicate with you at any of the levels. Either it will communicate with you at generals, at particulars, at mentals, at pathological. It will throw any hint. You'll just be ready to catch that. Learn to study the language of vital force. This is what I tell my students always. So then what do you do in this case? Now what I did was, okay, no symptoms. She was in comatose. Blood pressure was not coming up despite of giving the best of the medication. She was in hypotension. I went to the bedside. First symptom I took was septicemia. This is a pathological prescription I'm talking about. Then when I went near the patient, I was getting very bad smell, as if something very offensive and rotting. Now see, vital force is communicating with me, whatsoever be the cases. So I took the second symptom, which was what? Which was bad offensive odor. Her sweat was, her body was having very bad odor. 2 symptoms I got. And I saw her face. Her mouth was open. Okay. Now, see, vital force is again talking through her body gestures. Why her mouth was open? Why not her eye was open? Why not her mouth was closed? Now, I went to the repertory. I went to the rubric, face, mouth, open, comatose condition in. And the remedy which I gave was Baptisia tinctoria. So how was the entry? Entry was through pathological condition. Septicemia. Baptisia is a very good remedy for septicemia. She was also having a gangrenous condition with very bad offensive discharges. Her sweat was offensive and she was having a low muttering delirium in between. This worked. So you cannot apply the same approach to every case. Correct? Now, what is symptomatic prescription? So in many cases, when you will not get a strong characteristic symptom. You may not get any strong particular symptom. You will just get maybe a common disease symptom. Hahnemann says in his aphorism, when you get nothing, take the common symptom. But if you have strong characteristic symptom, don't neglect it. But if you have nothing, jo mil raha hai usko lo. Just pick it up what you're getting. Also, symptomatic prescription is when you have a strong symptom, very strong symptom, right? And in the whole of the case, strong symptom, be it, I'll tell you, be it a very common symptom. Just pick it up. Whatever I'm telling you, friends, I'm just talking from my day-to-day practice. I'll give an example of symptomatic prescription. Symptomatic prescription, one of the most common symptom. Any you see, what was the latest case I had? You get nothing in that case, Yeah, one thing. There was a patient, she was 75 years old. She was deteriorating with her memory. She was having fever, right? Her fever was high grade, 1 common symptom. I couldn't get anything else. Just one strong symptomatic symptom. Whenever the fan is on or whenever, the door is open, she used to start shivering like hell. I mean, everyone used to get scared looking at her chills. Now, chills is a common symptom in fever. 1, it is not a very strong symptom. It is not associated with any modality. So it is a very common symptom. But look, the symptom was so strong. The chills were so dangerous that the whole family used to get scared. So I gave her the remedy Hiparsulf, which helped her dramatically. Fine. So this is about pathological symptom. This is one of the way you can approach your case. Now, another question arises. whenever you get a patient, and people always think like, ma'am, polycrest or small remedies. See, any remedy can be a polycrest remedy if it is the correct remedy. I mean, I don't know how many of you have prescribed Spongia tosta like a remedy in deep pathological conditions where it has reversed the pathology. We have just limited Spongia tosta to cough. For us, Spongia tosta is a small remedy. Podophyllum is a small remedy, right? We think it is for diarrhea. Rust tox is a small, but I've been treating acute pancreatitis. I've been treating a lot of pathological cases, psychiatric cases with rust tox with excellent results. Just single remedy rust tox. So, a remedy doesn't make it a small or a polycrest. How you approach every remedy makes it a small or a polycrest remedy. So never ever limit, like, no, this is a sulfur, it can only treat pathology, but Spongia cannot treat it. Corallum rubrum cannot treat it. Don't limit yourself. How you approach a case is important. I'll give you example of podophyllum. So I had a case of cancer. The patient, doctor said the patient just have 1 month or 2 months maximum. No point of giving, chemotherapy, radiotherapy, etc. So the patient visited our clinic, and taking the whole case, I got 5 strong symptoms in that remedy. One was the patient is very social. He's doing a lot of social work. He's helping a lot of people. He was in a village also where he has helped a lot of women getting education. If anyone has any trouble, he will go and help them. Right? He wants people around. So much like phosphorus, right? Now, what had happened before he developed cancer was he had a business. He had a shop in his locality, and because of some reason, there's a political person there who harassed him and took away his shop and took away all his clients. That gave him a lot of anxieties and fears, and he was totally worried about what about my business now, and he was just thinking my business, how will I carry out my business. He was just thinking about business, and that person developed abdominal cancer. Right? The remedy was podophyllum. Why? You see, along with that, he was a very anxious patient. He had a lot of anticipation. The remedy I gave was podophyllum. His life, which was just for 1 month, 2 months, he lived for 1 year. Second thing is that patient lived a good quality of life. He could walk, he could talk, he could eat properly, and he had a very painless death. This is just one example how you have to think in a different way. You cannot just, limit your things about prescription. Now, next comes is layered prescription. Now, what do you mean by layered prescription? So, layered prescriptions are a kind of prescriptions which is usually done when the case is badly suppressed. Hahnemann says you have to give in complex cases. Unfortunately, nowadays, you have a lot of complex cases because they have been suppressed by a lot of prescriptions, be it by homeopaths or be it by allopaths. I will not say allopaths, I'm sorry. I would not say it is just allopaths who suppress the cases or make the case complex. Unfortunately, homeopaths also do. How do they do? You have joint complaint, please take Rustox in the morning, Bryonia in the evening, Ruta at night. Example I'm giving, right? I was shocked. I had a child. There was a patient who came to my clinic. He wants Sorinum 1M and he wants Sulfur 1M. Some homeopath had prescribed him these 2 remedies to be given for 3 months. Sulfur 4 pills, Sorinum 4 pills, combined together, TID for 3 months for his skin complaint. Just imagine if that child was given that remedy, how complex we will make his case. Or if a patient comes to you who has taken a lot of remedies for his skin complaint. You know why nowadays it is very difficult to treat skin diseases? The reason is they have been suppressed very badly. So you don't get a clear picture. You will never get a good totality. So what does the vital force does in order to protect itself? It keeps on developing layers. You know, I remember a case where a woman came to me with extreme anxiety and panic attack. She was on psychiatric medicines for 5 years. She couldn't go out of her house. Well educated, very good lady. Fine. So I took her whole case. I couldn't get any strong symptom because she was not remembering anything. Not in the sense of she lost her memory. Her vital force was not communicating with me her deeper aspects, her deeper desires, her deeper suppressions. Vital force was just communicating how I have anxiety, I cannot go out, I cannot cross the road, doctor, I feel scared. And she was constantly a chewing motion of the mouth. I feel scared. And whenever she was talking, her face was turning red. Doctor, I can't go out, I get scared. She was not complaining anything, she was just involved in herself. And I think if I go out, I may die, or I may not survive, my husband will die, anything will happen to my son, I'm totally dependent on him. And I don't want to go out, I don't want to live, all that stuff. I got nothing in that case. So then I gave her the remedy, Aconite, which was the uppermost layer I got from that remedy. I gave her Aconite. I was giving her Aconite for maybe for 2 years. I need to repeat it. I need to repeat the remedy 3 to 4 times, right? Now then a stage came, then she was again getting anxious. She was not getting better results. I retook the case despite of repeating Aconite. Then in that retaken of the case, she gave me deeper aspect of the case. Like what? Dr. C, I've always been a very ambitious girl. I've done, she has done DMLT. That woman today is 70 years old. And my husband was working in Dubai. I always wanted to work. It was a love marriage. But I couldn't work. The reason is, my husband wanted me to take care of the children. But I'm very well educated doctor. I like to help people. I like to be with the people. I want to prove that I'm good. But my husband was very dominating. He used to suppress me. He never appreciated me for what I did. She started talking all the deeper aspects after 2 years of the treatment. Before that, she never opened up. Not that she didn't remember. The thing was, her vital force was, not expressing that. That was not the time to give that remedy. And then she had a typical sensation, doctor, now I feel there is a, my brain is made up of wood. I can't think anything. I've got so fixity. I have a lot of anger for my husband. Why doesn't he understand? I gave her the remedy, Argentum metallicum. And after Argentum metallicum, she was on Argentum metallicum for 1 year. I must have repeated twice. I first gave her 200. I saw good results. In 3-4 months later, I had to give 1 M. And at last, I gave 10. And after 1 year, she was absolutely fine. She was, she was a very normal woman. And she herself said, doctor, now I don't need any treatment. I'm absolutely fine. So with Aconite, what did the Aconite do? It opened up the upper layer of the case. Right? Then she was comfortable after Aconite. She could go out. She could go out of the house. She could go to the parties or family function. But still, the fundamental cause was not treated or not expressed. And it is here when the patient leaves you or you feel the patient is better because he has not opened up the innermost complexes, the prescription fail or there is a relapse. Now it's been maybe 10 years. She's absolutely fine. She's having a good life, no psychiatric illness. She's off all the medicine. She's off my medicine as well since 7 years. So this was the case, a classical case of layered prescription. Psychiatric case. You also have layered prescriptions in cancer cases. You have layered prescription in a lot of pathological cases. Right? So this is about layered prescription. The most beautiful part is using keynotes and repertory in prescription. So see, keynote is what? Keynote is any symptom which is strong, peculiar, rare, acquired symptom. Very strong keynote of any case, for Hahnemann toxin aphorism 153 about it. Now tell me, if you have a strong, you get a case, you have a strong keynote, very strong keynote, but rest of the symptoms are not very strong. Okay, they are not strong in the sense they don't have a strong weightage, they don't have a strong indication, they don't have a strong totality. Always go for the keynote. On the contrary, if you have a strong keynote but you have a strong mental emotional picture, you have a strong essence, go for the essence. But if you have a strong keynote and you have a strong mental emotional picture, now that thing will be dhamaka. That prescription is no one can stop. You can just tell now you will get cured. So again, depending upon what kind of prescriptions you make, you can predict the patient whether I can be curing the patient, reversing the pathology, I will be just managing the case. So keynote is that kind of prescription. So it's very important. Whenever you give keynote, you have to be very sure that the symptom is a strong pathological symptom. It has a strong intensity. It is not a common symptom of the disease. It is rarely found. I remember a case of mine. The person had a very bad fungal infection in his inguinal region, right? So I took his whole case totality. I gave him one remedy, it didn't work. Second remedy, it didn't work. Then I asked him, tell me, what is the strong symptom of your eruptions? The doctor, I get extreme itching. And if I pour burning hot water, I feel better. The remedy I gave was clemitis. Eruptions are in the inguinal region. Eruptions, itching is better by applying burning hot water. It worked. His eruptions just went away in next 2 to 3 months. He was absolutely fine. Another case of mine, this person is having a chronic treatment with me. He had bronchitis, is much better. Suddenly he developed allergic issues. He came, doctor, I'm very allergic. I'm getting extremely itching. He was just itching, in the clinic. And he had taken allopathic medications, initially steroids, thinking that, it is faster, unfortunately. But he knows what kind of prescriptions usually we make in my clinic. Then after 3 days, he said, like, no, I'll go to Dr. Shelly only. And he came. I said, what's happening? Doctor's itching. I can't stop it. But what is the itching? Tell me. So now see, he is distressed by his symptom of itching, right? अगर आप पूछते रहोगे ना तुम्हारा mind क्या है, ये क्या है, वो है क्या, the patient will get angry. What I could see is redness, itching, and better by putting hands in cold water. Fagopyrum was the remedy. And I did his IgE counts, it was 2,500. After Fagopyrum, in 5 days, it came from 2,500 to 800. This is the importance of keynote prescription, but you cannot always make only keynote prescription. You cannot just hunt for keynote prescriptions. You have to, the patient will decide what kind of prescription you have to make, right? And the last kind is integrating classical and modern approaches. So there are a lot of modern approaches nowadays, like some people teach mind method, some people teach particulars, some people teach keynote method. Whatever you do, the only message I have for everyone is, please do not deviate from the fundamentals of homeopathy, whatsoever method you are learning. Remember, knowledge is excellent. That kindergarten knowledge, the ABCD you have learned, the basics of English you have learned, the basics of mathematics you have understood. Whatever degree you do in your future, you become an astrophysicist, or you become a literature teacher, or you do a PhD, or you become an accountant. The person whose fundamentals of kindergarten knowledge is excellent, that person will excel in his career. He can better learn new approaches if his fundamentals are clear. So make sure whatever approach you make, whatever approach you choose, don't deviate from the fundamentals of homeopathy. Don't follow just one thing. This is the correct. No. Follow Hahnemann, follow Organon, and see whoever is teaching you, whether that person is following what Hahnemann said. Now, there will be many people who will be talking about Hahnemann spoke this 200 years back, right? It doesn't follow today. But trust me, 200 years back, sulfur was showing the same proving symptom, until today it is showing the same. What Ken taught 100 years back, when I'm applying today into 2025, I'm getting the same results. I think what Hahnemann said or Hahnemann gave you was a complete package, because Hahnemann was not an ordinary man. Like going more into spirituality, understanding deeper aspects of world, higher consciousness. I understand there are some people who are chosen. There are some saints who take birth to do the welfare of the society, higher welfare. Like the person who must have discovered penicillin. He was a chosen man. He's not an ordinary man. He was chosen by divine. The person, Steve Jobs, who made the first iPhone, the smartphone, he was a chosen man. Hahnemann was a chosen man. He was a saint who was a chosen man for the welfare of the society. Leonardo, Hippocrates, Galileo, Copernicus, they all are chosen people. So they are the people who are chosen, who are God gifted. Never go against what they spoke, because their knowledge comes from higher consciousness. It is not a man-made knowledge. Never deviate from your fundamentals. This is what I would like to talk about my today's lecture. And this is with what I would like to end my today's lecture. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shelly Sharma. It's really a very, very good session indeed. You share really often that different type of prescriptions and why one need to look into all those kind of prescriptions and how one can choose the different type of prescription as and when it requires. There are people who believe that you should always go with the same principle or same methods in each and every prescription, but sometimes you may not be able to get the result. That is why whenever you get a difficulty in finding out the right prescription, then you will have to think of the second option. Always one should be prepared enough to go in that way also. That's why you show the different prescriptions. Somebody believed that it may be a case of bryonia, but it was not. Why? Because there was another reason for that. And you seem to be waiting for the result to come. And whenever you are not getting the result, you will have to change the potency. And at what time one need to change the potency? That's the question coming out here.
So Dr. Danish, I'll tell you, talking about potency is a very deep topic. If I'll just tell you superficially, change the potency, again, when and how you change your potency is very important. Like when you prescribe on totality, the criteria is different. This is what I have found in my practice. Or when you prescribe on Keynote, the criteria is different. So it will be very difficult to comment now when to change. But a simple rule is, if your remedy has worked, give it a chance. Give it a chance. I'll give you in a very simple language. But what chance, how much chance depends upon what approach you have done in your case. It entirely depends upon that.
Yes, that's what we have to look into. But when there is a stagnation in the recovery, then you can think of repeating that potency, or you can raise the potency to some other level. And at times, for particularly in pathologically advanced cases, you may need repetition. What's your opinion on that? Because
Okay,
it is short, and then That's why some people used to say that you can go ahead with these LF potencies in treating those advanced sleep. But there are another point of view is that when you apply for some medicine during the pathologically advanced cases, it is better to go with the low potency. What's your opinion on that also?
Yeah, of course, we should not go on high potency. The again reason is in advanced pathological cases, we don't get the deepest symptoms of vital force, mental emotional symptoms of vital force. The symptoms are more on the particular level. So there is a high chance if the remedy is just matching at the particulars, there could be an aggravation. One. Second is it all again depends upon your case. And third is yes, I know I'll talk about one of my case of cancer. She's having breast cancer, which is metastatized to lungs. I started her with LM potency. Her symptoms came down drastically. Her cough came down, her distress came down, her pains came down. A stage came when she was not responding to LM potency. Then I raised the potency. Still, she was not responding. Then I gave the patient 200 potency. She started responding. So you have to judge and decide upon the patients until and unless you are not very much, you know, very much, I would say, is knowing the fundamentals of homeopathy. It's a very big topic to talk about. I don't want to give any comment right now because it's a very deep topic. We can't talk right now on that. It's not so easy. I just would, the topic would, yeah.
Definitely, that will need 1 hour at least minimum for it. Of course, we can choose the subject in the coming edition of your presentation because that also is a very good subject to be discussed, where the doctors may find it difficult to go whether I should go for a next prescription or whether I should, because there is a feeling that the prescription or the potency should be in proportion with the intensity of the disease.
So, Dr. Danish, I remember a line by Vitulka sir.
Yes.
Many times you fail in a case when you don't repeat, and many times you fail when you repeat.
Yeah, exactly. That may happen.
There was a case of mine. She was having allergic asthma. She was doing very well. But patient was telling, doctor, still I'm not better, not better, not better. I repeated. And you will not believe the case got so spoiled that even after changing her remedies, I couldn't help her. And I finally I said, I'm sorry, I'm not able to help you. One unwanted repetition spoiled the case. Now, it all depends upon our perception, what you perceive about the case, how you feel the vital force, and do the needful.
Exactly. That is not the mistake of the potency, but the attitude of the patient, because the patient is so much frightened that she wants some more medicine, or so she wants to have more medicine for her recovery. That is the reason why, even though she is having improvement, she may not agree, but she is still saying that, doctor, I have this problem, I have that problem, but I am having so many problems. You give me some more medicine, like that. So we may be tempted to give some medicine in those situations, but that is really a wrong thing. But of course, in those conditions, we can change the rubric and find a different remedy for that. Am I right?
Yes. Don't play with the vital force. I'll just tell that.
Exactly. If anyone want to have a question or want to talk to Dr. Shelly Sharma, you can raise your hand or open your video so that we will allow you to unmute yourself and speak. Please come up with your question, or is there anyone? Please, there are some comments in this. Let me. Dr. Rampareso, sir, are you there? If you want to, hey, yes. Please unmute yourself. You made some comments here. Yes, please unmute. Yes.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear.
Dr. Dhanesh ji, Thank you and congratulations, Dr. Shelly Sharma ji. Very good presentation. Excellent session. Kinds of prescription, many kinds of prescription, keynote, other pathology, but easily prescription, symptomological prescription. It easily. Angle of treatment, first angle, symptomological angle, easily prescription, and second, miasmatical angle. Miasmatical angle, and third जो है pathological angle. Pathological angle, it is very difficult prescription, highly knowledge of disease and therapeutics and selection remedy. So very good presentation. Very thanks, Dr. Shelly Sharma ji.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Aparisa, sir. And now we invite Dr. Ramadevi Ambani Madam to say a few words, and as well as you can say the vote of thanks at the end of the session also. Dr. Ambani Madam?
So, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Dr. Shelly, it was very nice presentation. You had, you had touched all the fields. Yeah, it was correct. Some patients will tell, even if they are well also, they will not tell they are better. Because they want more medicine from us or more attention from us. That's why they are not telling that they are better. Anyhow, it was a very nice presentation. We can approach the patient through all the way. Different corners we can approach the patient. And a very nice presentation. Thank you. Thank you a lot. Come again. As usual, your presentation is very interesting. Come again.
Yes.
Thank you. On behalf of me, as well as Ifph, I tell you my gratitude.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, ma. Well done, my doctor. Very good.
Dr. Thank you, Dr. Ambani Madam. Dr. Shelly Sharma, what kind of practice you are doing there, whether you are following a predictive method or the weather course method, what is the basic behind your success?
So, frankly speaking, it's I have till my college days, I was thoroughly following organ of medicine. I remember people doing shortcuts when learning organon. For me, organon medicine was the book for me. And then in my course of time, I met a lot of doctors, stalwarts. I learned from a lot of people. And then I applied it in my clinic differently. I started developing my own art towards the prescription method. Like, for example, if I'll tell you one thing, Dr. Danish. There are many spiritual leaders. You have Osho, you have Vipassana, you have Sadhguruji, you have a lot of spiritual leaders. Every leader will share their experience. You have to know and take the best from everyone, and then you have to apply and match to the organon of medicine. Who follows organon medicine, take it and just apply it.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Shelly. We can meet this in the coming month, if possible, from another session as per your convenience.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Okay.
Dr. Shelly Bhosale, as participating.
Very good answer. Very good answer, Shelly.
Thank you, madam.
Reading the organon, our Bible, we have to read at least one aphorism. We have to read daily. I used to tell my friends as well as my juniors. I used to tell.
Thank you.
Okay, shalom. No problem. When we were in college, organon used to say go for single remedy, but we used to get surprised why there are patents prescribed or why there are polypharmacy prescribed. So that gave us a clarity who to choose and from whom you should learn.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, definitely. People in the beginning will find it very difficult to move on whether you have to choose the right single method or multiple prescription, whatever may be, because then you will have to follow somebody who is having very good practice. You just follow them and find how they are successful in their practice. So
Yes.
like that. Anyway, congratulations once again on behalf. Thank you, all participants from different part of the world for joining this wonderful evening with, and say you are having a very good session from Dr. Shelly Bhosale. Thank you all. Good night. It's over to Dr. P. Shaila to moderate our next session in Malayalam.